I'm Michael Fox, and this is the Prospector News Podcast. And I am joined today by the President and CEO of Exploits Discovery, Jeff Swinoga. Welcome back to the podcast, Jeff.
Well, great. Thanks, Michael. It's always a pleasure, and you do such a great job. So thanks for having me on the show.
That's not a problem. You're actually one of my favorite stories to tell because I think we have as investors, a good opportunity here to as the way I look at it, get a second chance at a newfound gold type of discovery if we missed out on it the first time. But before we get into the meat and potatoes, let's tell everybody that's unfamiliar with exploits who you are and what you're doing.
Yeah, great. And for people that don't know us, we're part of this whole gold rush that started about 4.5 years ago. A fantastic company, Newfound Gold, came out with a great hit, probably one of the best hits in the world, 90 grams over 20 meters back 4.5 years ago. Really kicked off a gold rush. A lot of companies in Newfoundland started staking property around the Appleton Fault, which is hosting that mineralization. And this company, Exploits Discovery, was so fortunate to accumulate so much land on the Appleton Fault. So since that time, Newfound has discovered 20 gold zones. They became $1 billion company. Eric Sprott has personally invested over $260 million into that company. Our company is following in their footsteps. We just started, we got this bullseye property we staked it about 2 years ago. We also picked up Gazebo and a few other properties on this Appleton Fault, probably some of the most valuable claims in Central Newfoundland. And we started drilling our bullseye property last year. So just stepping back a bit, Eric Sprott owns 16% of us. So if you don't know Eric Sprott, he's a legendary investor. He's made billions of dollars in the junior mining space. We're also owned 8% by Newfound Gold themselves. We've got an all-local team based in Gander, Newfoundland. Our properties are all within an hour of Gander. Our staff is either from St. John's, Newfoundland, or Gander or Gambo. It's a fantastic team that love working in their own backyard. And we're exploring for high-grade gold. We had our first gold discovery last year with Horseshoe, when we just announced another gold discovery on Monday. So anyway, Michael, super pleased. Hopefully we're following in the footsteps of what I like to call our big brother Newfound Gold and on our path to becoming $1 billion company.
Yeah, you did. You had another great discovery on Monday. The markets even kind of grabbed attention. Your volume was way up from what it normally is. Let's talk about the drill results that came out on Monday and what the effects were.
And thanks for mentioning Monday. We traded over 11 million shares on Monday. A lot of times people say I'm not sure if I want to invest in the junior mining space because they don't have the liquidity with respect to share volume. But honestly, to see that type of awareness of what we're doing and eyes on us was tremendous to see. It's probably the most volume we've ever had in one day in the history of the company. And just going to the announcement that we had on Monday, the big hit that we had was 67 grams per ton over 3.3 meters. So from a U.S. perspective, that's almost like 2 ounces of gold per ton over about 11 feet. So super happy. It was down about 85 meters in depth. And then also within that, we saw 254 grams per ton over almost a meter too. So that was our hole number 15. And this all was predicated on drilling last year. So last year, as I mentioned, we put 30 holes. We discovered our Horseshoe zone. Again, another high grade discovery up to 118 grams per ton, open in all directions. But we stopped because Newfound Gold to the south of us, within a kilometer, have found 6 gold discoveries. They found Everest, they found K2, Honeypot, Vegas, Jackpot, Lotto North. All these discoveries are within about a year of discovering. So it's this area is really heating up. So on the back of the discoveries that Newfound had and our Horseshoe, what we found was in hole number 28, which is sort of on the border of our property, and Everest is on Newfound side. We discovered, several clusters of gold quartz veining, over 18 meters. And then we saw visible gold in that cluster. Then on hole number 30, further to the northeast, we also hit similar, results. So there's a splay that kind of comes off this Appleton. If you want to envision like a feather, the Appleton is like the main part of the feather, and then these splays are kind of coming off, and that's where we're finding where the gold mineralization is. So one of these splays, it was interpreted to sort of hit hole 28, hole 30. So that's what we're following. So we went back and started drilling around hole 28, and this is where we discovered this 67 grams over 3.3 meters, lots of high grades. So we're definitely following up. The program we have now is targeted to have 2,500 meters, 12 holes. So the first results came out on Monday. We're hoping to have the next set of results out in the next 2 weeks. So we just tell people stay tuned.
Yeah, no, it's really exciting. And your theory all along is that the newfound Appleton Fault keeps going through your property, and the high grade clumps of gold that Newfound finds on theirs is also going to be prevalent on your property as they move further. I believe the direction is north through your property. These drill results help confirm that, do they not?
Yeah, and honestly, it's when you look at everything trending north, we couldn't be happier because Newfound Gold has a lot of property to the south as well. But if you look at sort of the maps that we have on our website, they're drilling right on our border and have drilled on border. That's where they found a lot of success, within 100 meters of our border. So, and Bullseye, even though it's a small property, it's high octane, if you will, because they found K2 to the west of the Appleton Fault, and it's getting bigger and better, and Melissa Render's done some fantastic videos on that, and we haven't even looked at the west part of our Bullseye yet property. We're still focused on sort of the eastern side and following some of those extension and trends that you're talking about, Michael. So and then also, just to mention, Newfound Gold spent about $10 million on seismic, because some of these orogenic, or, in quotes, mountain building process, they tend to go deep, almost like Fosterville. Fosterville, again, one of the most profitable mines in the world because of the super high grade that they found in the Swan Zone. Newfound Gold has gone down about 3 kilometers to kind of look at how these gold mineralization, these gold discoveries could trend at depth. And they just came out, I think it was just this week, down a kilometer, they found similar geology. So the fact that this thing goes deeper is a tremendous opportunity for not only Newfound Gold, but for us, because as we follow these trends on surface, if they go deeper, that would be great. So lots going on in this area, honestly. So just going back to the seismic information. So to get the depth on their property, they asked if they could go over our Bullseye property to do seismic. And so we got that information for free. So we've had the information for probably about just over 2 months now. We hired the same consultant that Newfound had, because we do think they were the best ones in the world to kind of do the interpretation. So we're having sort of weekly meetings with them. So another thing to watch out for is that we're going to come out with our own sort of interpretation of what we have at depth, and give us a month or two to kind of come out, because they do take a lot of drill information as well, and sort of do that interpretation with the stuff they see at depth. So we're seeing a lot of faulting down below, and we want to come out and show that hopefully that it connects up to some of the gold zones that we've discovered ourselves. So anyway, it's exciting times, Michael.
Yeah, it's good to have a good neighbor, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, Newfound owns a part of you. They're right next door. They do an awful lot of drilling. They do an awful lot of other testing and observational work. How much of their intelligence do they actually share with you guys to help you with your property, given that they have a stake in your success as well?
Yeah, and it's a great question, because I do call him our big brother, because what Newfound has done, is they've really created a blueprint or a framework of how to discover gold along this Appleton Fault. Like if you go back 4.5 years ago, Newfound Gold did not have a Newfound Gold drilling for 4 years. So they were really at the early stages of coming out and talking about the potential here, and the fact that we can hopefully follow in their footsteps and have similar results to them. They've given sort of us what a path forward looks like towards $1 billion valuation. So we're super pleased. People often say, well, is there competition between us and them? And I said, well, I wish Newfound Gold was a $10 billion company because in comparison, we would look even better. A company like ours, where right now I think we're trading at 13 million market cap with about 6 million in cash. But if you look at the maps, and Newfound Gold just bought Labrador's property for 20 million. So if you look at a map, we kind of show them in blue. So it'd be a sea of blue on the map with Newfound Gold, and then you'll see a sea of yellow or gold where we show our properties. So it's really us and them. We're the number 2 player, or the only other player to Newfound Gold in the area. So when you look at their valuation, you look at our valuation, it's certainly, in my opinion, it's very attractive.
So given the work that Newfound's done and what you can learn from them, does it seem to give you an easier path? Do you make, I don't want to say mistakes because we all learn from mistakes, but does it keep you on task and keep you from, moving into areas that maybe aren't as lucrative?
And that's a great point, Michael, because a good example is last year. So our first drill hole on Bullseye, we just wanted to see where the Appleton Fault was, right? To make sure that we were targeting it properly and from the geophysical work that we did. And we hit VG in our first hole. And then this came out with our horseshoe discovery. But then literally after we announced it, again, Newfound came out with all of their discoveries to the south. And again, close to our border. So we stopped drilling because we said, let's kind of understand how these splays are moving onto our property. So I honestly, not self-gratiating, but I mean, that is, I think there was a smart move to save our treasury. So that when we do drill, we're targeted, we're focused. It's almost surgical drilling versus systematic drilling. And actually, Nick Ryan, our exploration manager, did an analysis on our hit ratio. Not really quite sure if I want to talk about it publicly yet, but it's quite good. So in the holes we've drilled on Bullseye, we've hit VG probably 25% of the time, visible gold. And then over a 1 gram threshold, we've been hitting over 50% of the time. So that's, if you compare us to other junior mining companies or exploration companies, that's a pretty good hit ratio. So it just shows that, I can't say that's going to be in the future, but what we're doing is we're hopefully creating the best bang for buck for our shareholders. So when we do drill, we hopefully are going to demonstrate success, much like Newfound Gold. So anyway, things are going well, and the team's been fantastic.
Perfect. Now, you mentioned earlier that you have more drill results coming out in the next couple of weeks. Where were those holes situated versus the results that came out on Monday? And what are you hoping to find out from those holes with the results?
Yeah, and Michael, what we're doing is we're going to come out with a video that kind of shows display and shows the potential connectivity between hole 28 and hole 30, which is much further northeast. So the key thing for us is to hopefully demonstrate that there's this mineralization across this splay. Almost, I'm not going to say it like a Newfound iceberg would be fantastic, but so it's early days still, only 3 drill holes. But to your question, we are going to drill a little bit deeper and around hole 28 to kind of see if we can follow this down at depth. And then the key would be to start moving towards the northeast. So that's going to be the goal here, to kind of show that this splay shows mineralization across almost hopefully all of it. But that's going to be what we're focused on.
And that's if coming from the next set of drill results, or is that the next drill program?
Yeah, so the next, we'll probably come out with the next 3 or 4 holes, and that would be probably still along hole 28. But then again, only 3 holes kind of triangulating where this zone is. So it's really more confirmation of the saddle zone that we've announced. So we want to make sure that and I was talking to someone a couple of days ago who of course works for Newfound Gold, and they're like, yeah, you don't want to step out too far. Because if you step out too far, I mean, when you're talking about high grade, like, over 200 grams per ton, you don't want to, if you got the tail of the tiger, you don't want to sort of miss, where the tail leads to the tiger. So, and this is, I guess, to your point about, following the Newfound's footsteps, we even though it's surgical, systematic, a kind of targeted drilling, we really want to make sure that we're following this trend and we don't sort of poke holes in areas that we could miss it by 25 meters. So we're going to follow this, and I think it's exciting times. And honestly, I hope more people start following us, because it's really exciting. Like, honestly, I don't know what the next 3 or 4 holes assays show yet. We haven't got those back. But when we announced it, I mean, everyone's sort of on the edge of the seat, sort of waiting for these results to come out and how we can follow them up.
No, definitely. Now, you said that the distance between hole 28 and hole 30 is quite significant. And I always laugh at a statement like that. And it's because what's quite significant varies from geologist to geologist. So how far apart are those holes actually?
Yeah, so I think it's about 300 meters, so ish around there. So, but yes, high grade is a beautiful thing. So you're absolutely right, Michael. Whether it was, if we had a low grade sort of splay, 1 gram to 3 gram, it wouldn't be as exciting. But when you're hitting, up to over 200 grams per ton early on a potential splay that could extend, that's what gets us excited.
So, and that's where your next drill program is going to be, is between holes 28 and 30, to show that the splays continue on through there.
Yeah, so step by step, first is to do some more confirmatory drilling to make sure that we understand where the zone is around 28. We've already announced it as a discovery because of the high grade hits we've had in the intervals, and hopefully the intervals will get wider as we proceed forward. But yeah, so we're going to take it step by step. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We don't want to start poking holes, 300 meters away. So we want to make sure that if we do have the tail of a tiger, we follow the tail a bit more, and hopefully the tail gets thicker and better. So
wonderful. So the next drill plan is how many holes and how deep?
Yeah, so we haven't announced that yet, Michael. So I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but okay. I like the way you're thinking, because if things do stay the same in terms of the results or get better, it definitely warrants a follow-up program. And but again, leave that to us to how we design it and come up with that sort of information.
When you do announce it, roughly when would you be targeting the next round of drilling?
Again, leave the timing to us. We want to, because how this proceeds and how the results will kind of dictate how we want to proceed going forward, if you know what I mean. So I don't want to jump the gun on talking about the next drill program until we kind of get these results in, and then we don't want. I just want to manage the expectations. So. In my view, I hope we have a huge drill program going forward, but we have to get the results back. And again, I don't know the results for the next 3 or 4 holes, so we'll have to see what they show, and then we can maybe start thinking about how a new drill program would look like.
No, definitely. Well, you got me excited over these last set of drill results. I can't wait for the next ones, and I'm already jumping ahead to what that's going to tell us. So, if people want to follow this story, how's the best way to keep Exploits Discovery on their radar?
Yeah, so I guess first thing to do is go to our website, exploitsdiscovery.com. You can also follow us on LinkedIn and social media. We tend to do trying to keep up appearances on social media, so we'll have videos coming out. I just spoke to Ken, our VPX, on doing a video talking about the display and what the potential could be there. It'll be very informative, so please stay tuned for that. So and if you want, just email us or text me. I try to be very good at getting back to investors, and I've got some compliments on being timely. So I like talking about our story. Honestly, we've got great people working for us. in a great jurisdiction, and again, another gold discovery announced. So I'm super pleased to talk to anyone about it.
And it's exciting times ahead, and people should definitely be putting this one on their radar. Thanks very much for joining me today, Jeff, and I look forward to the next round of results.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. It was a pleasure.
The Prospector News podcast is for educational purposes only. The opinions expressed are those of the participants and are not to be taken as investment advice. Listeners need to do their own due diligence and seek advice of a licensed investment advisor.